Wait, what's on your shirt? What does that say? Never been held by a femboy. The fish has never been held.
This is the default outfit for people on Quest, so I just wear it now, so that way I'm not confused when people ask me what my shirt says. Okay, so I chose this avatar. I actually don't remember how I found it. I know I was hanging out with some friends and we were finding a bunch of silly, funny stuff, and I found this one, and I kind of just liked it. The cat and the shark, just kind of, it was a nice combination. I thought it was silly, and I just kind of never stopped using it after that. And people know me with it now, so I don't know if I can ever again. And I chose this world because one, it's very pretty, and two, it's from a game I really enjoyed from my childhood. The game is Sonic Unleashed. This is the very first stage you get to run around in for like the open world stuff, and it's really pretty and peaceful. You come back a lot. Oh, that's a big question. I usually just shorten my name because people struggle to say it. So I am Ari. To everybody I meet, I always just say to shorten it because it's way easier and it's a lot harder to get wrong. I just spend a lot of time in whatever place seems fun, and even if I don't say anything, I'm probably around just watching. I like to see how different communities interact and spend a lot of time researching the things I'm really into. So every once in a while I'll get stuck on something for months, and then I'll take a break and get hooked on something else to just change it out for a whole year. Okay, my background has a lot. I don't know where I'd start, but I think I've grown up playing games like my entire life, so it's kind of just become everything I do that's not just going to work every day. I barely have any memory of playing games from when I was 4, but I know I did, and I've just never decided to quit, because there's always something new, some new thing to explore. It's gotten me really into writing, it's gotten me to meet a lot of people that I really enjoy knowing, and overall it's just kind of one of those things that I think I never want to stop doing. A fun fact about me is that really early on in the internet, so this is like one of the first things I ever did online. This is how I pretty much, if I wanted to trace a line back to how I met everybody I know today, I used to do Undertale comic dubs back when the fandom was on like the peak of dying. So it was a little late, but I got to really enjoy meeting a lot of people with similar interests, and it's kind of just taken off from there. I have a lot of hobbies. Some of the more physical ones that are easier to pin down are I build models, so that goes from like Gundam. I think I have some Digimon ones, and then I build little Warhammer 40k models. And I like to just collect anything that just visually is pleasing, and I display it in my room. So I have all kinds of different things, from an actual sword to a couple of different like dice somewhere down there. My occupation is pretty boring. I'm a teller at a bank. I spend all of my time pretty much just handling cash or thinking about numbers, and then I go home and I forget how numbers work. And that's just kind of the day in, day out. There's not a lot of fanciness to it, but you meet a lot of interesting people, so I get to learn about various people's lives that way too. My hopes and dreams, one day I want to take this character in this world I've made and really just like, I want to share this story with a lot of people, and I want to build a community around a story I really love. I don't care how big or small it is, but I just want to cultivate a group that just loves the same thing and really feels like they have something like a positive force in their life, because I always want to entertain people. That's kind of the bigger thing, is even if I can't get that to happen, I just want to make people smile. I've been playing VRChat for... I have several hundred hours by now. It's not as much as it could be, but I know I've been playing all the way... I have like models saved that don't even exist anymore, because they were deleted all the way back at like the beginning of the pandemic. and I've just held on to them for years because I can't bring myself to get rid of them. So that was before, I think. Actually, I don't have a specific time frame for that. It's been a couple years. I think, like a lot of places online, VRChat has it's got its good and bad, its ups and downs. It's gotten a little worse in my eyes lately, but I also don't find that it's something that I'm completely like turned away from, because anywhere you go, that's just gonna happen. Culture changes and stuff like that, and people will always do things that I don't agree with, but like I want to say a healthy 90% of the time I find some really nice people to spend a couple of hours with and learn about them and just some really cool topics, so it's overall a good experience. I think what surprised me the most is just how like many kinds of people you get to meet. There's such a... I knew it was a big thing, but when I first got to it, I didn't have VR, so I didn't spend a lot of time. And then once I actually got it and I started playing more, there's just so many different people and communities that meet here that all get to share their love in a unique way that I think you can't really find in any other form of media, aside from just actually being able to almost physically interact in person. So you really get to meet people from all over. I do not have a VRChat family. I know a couple of people that do, and I really don't mind it. I feel like that's something I've been around since I was like really young. I've known people that do that stuff, and I've never joined one or been asked to join one or anything like that, but I think they're pretty harmless overall. I don't see like a problem with people just being able to express their friend group in a unique way. I feel like it's the same thing as just calling somebody a mom friend or a dad friend, but now you kind of just act it out a little bit. I have been a mute a couple of times. Not for super extended periods, but it was interesting. You learn a lot of different ways to communicate with your hands to people and still articulate conversation without ever using words, because I wouldn't even type a lot of the time. I would just not even not write or type. I would just use my hands and gesture and hope that they figured it out, and usually it works. Avatar ripping is interesting because I don't I don't personally have that much of a problem with it, because I understand that like this is a free game and people don't necessarily want to have to pay for everything just to look the way they want. As long as somebody is not turning around and distributing this or reselling it or anything like that, they're just using it for complete personal use, I don't see that much of a problem with it, because it's not harming in the end to use one person's thing, and they can still spread word of mouth how good the avatar is, and I think that's really important. I really think that when VRChat first came out and it was a lot smaller, kids could stick around, but I don't like to stay near them because they're usually just I've already helped like raise a niece and nephew. I don't like to be around kids at all. They're exhausting and they get a bit too much. I also think that with how much VRChat has shifted a lot harder to being for adults in general, it's a lot less safe for them to be on, and with the verifying your age now, I think that'll be a lot nicer, because it keeps me in places where I don't have to be around kids, because I really just want to spend as little time around them as possible. They give me headaches.
Aww.
Low poly cats for your viewing pleasure. They're here in the real game too. I love it. And they are physical objects too, so if you get too close, you move over them. I feel like the happiest thing. Not a great sign that I have to think this hard. It's not that there hasn't been a lot of happy things, it's just that it's kind of hard to pinpoint what would be the happiest. I think... I don't know what the happiest moment is, because I tend to kind of just enjoy things moment to moment and not think about them for too long. One of the worst things is pretty easy. So when I was about 6 years old, I moved states super far. So I went to Washington State, do a big trip all the way down. Now I live in Kansas. And during our first year there, we were living in a trailer for a couple months, and we moved into an actual house. And it's pretty small, but I mean, it's a house. It's better than nothing. And on the way home, we get into a really awful car accident. It's given me, I don't have any kind of like chronic pain or anything. I bit the tip of my tongue off. So now, whenever I say S's, sometimes you'll hear that I hiss a little more than a normal person would. But it gives me back problems pretty consistently, especially in my lower back. And that was one of the worst things that's ever happened. But I'm almost over the anxiety of being in a vehicle now. It's been several years. It took a long time to get over that.
What is one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to you in real life or in VRChat?
Okay. So I think it'd have to be in VRChat. I had one person I met in a world earlier that day. They seemed nice enough, so I added them. And then I was kind of just floating around, and I noticed they were in another world later, so it was a public, and I joined them, and I go say hi, and now they were talking this time because they reviewed the first time. So we're having a relatively normal conversation, and their avatar's a lot bigger than me. I play a pretty tiny guy. So, but then they like hold my head. Okay, not a problem. I'm not really, it's whatever. I'm kind of used to people just doing that. So it doesn't bother me. What then proceeds to happen is they go on a conspiracy theory about my family being replaced and my parents harmed me from my birth by something I won't go into too much detail about. They were just really strange and kept like pointing at the sky and saying that they were an alien sent down to fix this problem for me. It's a little bit more, there's a bit more to the story than that. I just don't know if I really want to give that much detail because it's a little uncomfortable, so we'll leave it there. Something really nostalgic for me is I have my Wii U still in like perfect condition from when I got it. And so being able to play all like the Wii games from when I was a kid, I think sometimes I really like to go back to some of those things that I played when I was really young and look back on how maybe my tastes have stayed the same. So I've been playing Monster Hunter since I was 9, and I still own the first game I ever bought for it. And I really like to go back and just see, I have the original character I made, the one I started recently, so I can see just how much more I've gotten better at the game, and it just makes me really happy to see the difference in time.
So, you had mentioned being interested in things like sound design, music, and voice acting. Tell me a little bit about that. For example, how did you get into that?
I got into it by just really early on. I started to really notice the voices of different characters and who was saying them and who was sounding the same. And I would just get really into some of the voice lines that they would say and the delivery, and then eventually that evolved into me listening even closer, and I played a lot of sound-based games. I think funnily enough, Rainbow Six Siege, and just like listening to all the various sounds and how you can actually tell so much just by being attentive gave me an appreciation for the sound design and how much effort goes into like making it so when you're walking around in a game it feels immersive and you just don't think about it, but if you removed all that stuff you'd notice how important it is. I have made a song before. It is not good at all. I know what's wrong with it and how I can fix it. It's just really hard to when it's your first attempt. So I still have it unlisted on my YouTube channel. I don't mind sharing it with people every once in a while. It's not something I'm super embarrassed of because I know it's my first attempt and you can never be perfect on your first try. It's impossible. So, I use a lot of pre-made loops. I'm working on some different instruments. I've played a couple throughout my life. A lot of the drums. I've vaguely played the trumpet, but I'm not too good at it. I'm okay with the keyboard. I can do sight reading pretty good, or playing things by ear, but relatively okay. And sometime this year, I want to learn how to play the bass. So the comic dubs never got uploaded anywhere, unfortunately. There was a lot with that, but overall, I had a really good experience. I met a lot of nice people. It was my first time voice acting. I found it through an Instagram post, and I replied, and then they sent me a DM asking me to, join the Discord and try out. And I tried out. I remember I was sick a lot during then, so my voice would go back and forth on being more like gravelly and higher pitched because God, I don't remember how old I was back then. This was way pre-pandemic. I think I was still in middle school. So I would do Asriel when I was fine, and then I would do Grilby when I was sick because my voice was gravelly and a bit deeper. I haven't done any in a long time. I guess the closest thing is like when I play D&D. I'll do a little voice acting. I've been working on a character whose voice is just super like gravelly, which isn't good for my throat at all. I don't recommend doing stuff like that unless you just want to have fun. The one thing you really should have tried to ask, you should have tried to figure out where the bodies were. Now I can't tell you. You didn't ask already. You're too late.
What final comments, thoughts, or advice do you have for the viewers?
I think it's really easy to dwell on a lot of your problems. And I'm not saying that you should ignore all of them, because I have a lot of things that I focus on too. But sometimes you need to find the right time to just take a break, take a breath, and just do something else. You can put off things for just a little bit, and they'll always be there when you come back. So just take 5 minutes here and there if you really need it. And it's not like life's going anywhere. You only got so much time. You got to use it how you really want to. Do I just?
Yeah, just give him a head
It's a
pat.
little bit hard with the cats in the way. It's
That-
okay, right there.
You tell me what you just said to me.
I said that having a group that says that you read bios is the same as being in a group that says you love men. I'm in a group that says I love men, and I accidentally left the one that says I read bios, but there's enough overlap, I think people get it.
I was supposed to throw that at you.